Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. All things Ariana here. So today is gonna be a little bit different of a video than what I normally put out, but I feel like this is gonna be a good segment for us as a unit, as a whole, for me, for you as well. So today is gonna be my first video in our family talk. We're gonna have a family talk today. And our topic that we are going to talk about today on our family talk is mental health. And it's something that is almost taboo to even talk about, taboo to say anything about it. We don't talk about it enough, but it's so present and prevalent in the time that we're living in right now, today, in 2019, that it needs to be talked about. So in today's video, we will talk about my journey and my the things that I dealt with and the emotions that I kind of went through, and what did I do to get through those emotions, those dark times. Did I go see a therapist? Did I not go see a therapist? You know, everything. Where am I today? How am I feeling today? You know, and hopefully that my story will help you or somebody near you or around you or whatever. So if you're interested, stay tuned. I'll be back. Alright guys, so let's start this video off with some background into me. I know some of you may already know me, some of you may not know me, but let's do some background so that way you have the gist of, you know, where my problems stem from and where, you know, they all started to come arise, and when I finally realized that, you know, hey, I have some issues that I need to work on. So me, I was raised in a two-parent household. My parents are still married. They've been married as long as I've been on this earth. So and it's just me and my sister, so there's no brother, no outside children or anything like that. It's just me and my sister that's been in this household. I feel like I have a pretty good relationship with my parents, with my mom. We are a lot alike. I'm a lot like my parents. I have a lot of them in me, in different manners and different forms or shapes depending on the situation. You may see some of my mom more than my dad, or some of my dad more than my mom, but nonetheless I am a mixture of my parents. And me and my sister, we get along fine, perfectly fine actually. We two peas in a pod. We're the same people essentially, just in two different bodies. So it's not no childhood trauma, no abuse or molestation or anything like that has been in my life. No confusion, no chaos, no anything like that. So that was never an issue. I've always been in a loving household. I've been well taken care of. Some would probably say spoiled, but whatever the case may be, I've never been without. You know, my parents never neglected me. You know, they've taken care of me and my sister. They've always been supportive of us. They've taught us well. So I've always had, I would say I've had a pretty good upbringing. I was a young girl who I've clearly always been headstrong, very determined to do things, whether it was my way or not, or, you know, whether I you know, all of us have this defiant state, you know. And me, I had this really huge attitude. Like, my attitude was always 10 times bigger than me. I've never been a big person. I'm still not a big person. But my attitude is just, it's out of this world. So, you know, when I was younger, I didn't have control of that. I didn't have the tools to use to, you know, keep it at a woosah. It was always at a 10 all the time. even when I woke up. Like, I feel like when I was born, I came out with an attitude. Like, that's how much of an attitude I've had. And I know this and I acknowledge this. I've always said that, like, I have an attitude that's out of this world. And I guess for me, like, I feel like if I can control my attitude, and I'm pretty sure if you talk to some of my family and my friends and even my parents, they'll tell you, like, yeah, my attitude was it was out there, sis. It was really out there. But, you know, I've learned to control it. I have the reins of it now. Then I didn't. It was just a wild horse just running free, doing what it wants to do. But as time has went on, as I've evolved, as I've grown into the woman that you see today, I've had the reins on it for the most part. You know, I still have times where I digress and I slip back, but, you know, for the most part, I can, you know, reel her back in when she starts to come out. I can be like, girl, come on, come back, girl. We not doing that today. Come on, we gonna act right today. So yeah, I have reins on it, and I feel like because this is the stem of a lot of my issues. I feel like because I've had an attitude, you know, when I was younger, people still see that attitude today, and it's not really attitude now as much as it was then, but that's a default. That's the easiest explanation for most people that know me or may not know me, is that I have an attitude, but I really don't. And it caused a lot of frustration in me, and it made me angry, and I would just bottle up all these feelings and bottle up all these emotions instead of talking to somebody. Even if I tried to talk to somebody, it would just frustrate me even more, and then I would just shut down, and then I would internalize, and then, you know, I would go on about my day, I would go on about my life or whatever, and I just internalize this stuff. And then you never know, 2 weeks later somebody might say something to me and I might just lose the handle on them. Like, that's how it was a recurring cycle for me throughout my younger years doing that. So I've always had this built up frustration and anger in me. So, you know, as I got older, this is one of the issues. We'll talk about the other ones as well, but this is like something that I've always dealt with, and I still deal with it today. Even in, like, especially in, like, work environments, that's a whole nother thing, but I still deal with it, like, even with my family and my friends. And it just always made me feel like that I just didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to be around people. I would isolate myself just because if I don't, it's always misinterpreted if I'm not talking. If I am talking, what I'm saying, my demeanor, my actions, everything is being overanalyzed, and it's always being interpreted in the wrong manner. Like, it's not what it is. Like, what they're perceiving is not what it is. They're just taking it and running with it, and it would make me so mad and so angry and so frustrated that, like I said, I would isolate myself. I wouldn't talk to people. I just didn't want to be bothered. And that was a lot of that. I got that a lot, especially in my family, like my immediate family. When I say my immediate family, I mean like my parents, brothers, sisters, their children, and their like that my grandmother's kids and grandkids and all that stuff like that. That's where I was getting a lot of that attitude, assuming I had an attitude from, and it was so frustrating to me. And it got to a point where I just didn't even want to be bothered. Like, I didn't want to be around my family for real. I didn't want to go to any family functions, because even if I'm just sitting at a table and not really, you know, I'm not interacting with people, maybe because I'm not in the mood, or maybe I don't feel like it, you know, my social meter, it declines sometimes, and I just don't want to be bothered. Like, my friends know that, they understand that, they get that, but, you know, my family doesn't get that, and maybe I just don't really want to talk. Maybe I just want to, you know, sit here and, you know, observe and enjoy the moment as it is. But then my family will be like, "Oh, you must got an attitude. That's why you ain't talking to nobody." No. But there was no need in me explaining that to them, that I didn't have an attitude, or that my social meter was at a low, and I just wasn't in a place to be social, or I just didn't really feel like being bothered. I was just there because my dad wanted me to be there, or my mom wanted me to be there, or I just wanted to be in the presence of y'all, but not really interact. Like, I can't explain it to my family because they won't understand that. They'll think, oh, something's wrong with me because they don't understand me. And that's what I felt like. I felt like nobody really understood me as a person. They only saw me as this little 14-year-old girl who has this grave attitude, this big old attitude for no reason, or so they thought was no reason. And it was just weird because I feel like, what's the point? Why? Like, why should I? Like, why should I even attempt to try to explain it to them? They don't care. Like, they know what they think they know, and they want to run with it, and they want to deal with it. So what's the point in me trying to explain it to them? And so since they knew, I just never tried to explain it to them. I never tried to get them to understand me or anything like that. I never tried to get them to see me as anything other than what they saw, because I didn't feel like it was worth it. And that just, like I said, went into it added more to the frustration of, like, I don't have an attitude. Why does everybody assume that I have an attitude when I really don't? Like, it just fed more and more into that. And then that also leads into one of the other issues that I had, was with my dad. Me and my dad, like I said, we never had like a bad relationship. My dad is a very loving person. He's very calm. He's always been calm, even when he's upset. He's calm, and that would drive me nuts because I'm a I guess you can say emotional person. When I respond to things, what I'm saying is, when I respond to things, I expect, I give not reactions, but I give, I have emotional parts that come out. So whether that be, if I'm mad, it shows. If I'm sad, it shows. Like, I'm a person that you see my emotions are always there. But my dad is not like that. My dad is just very calm, very mild mannered, and I'm just like on 10, ready to go. What's up? Like, I'm that person. That's me. And I feel like when I was younger and as I was growing up, that caused a lot of tiff in between me and my dad, because we're a lot alike in some form, but we're really different in some form. And I think that's where that disconnect for me and him came, because I'm more like my mom. I'm more vocal. I'm more in your face. I'm more I'm loud. I show my emotions. I have my face reacts to things when people say stuff to me. My dad's not like that. Like I said, my dad is very calm. He's very reserved. He doesn't say much. But me, I'm on it. Like, I'm here. Like, what did you say? Like, I'm in your face. Like, that's how I've always been. Like, I don't mind confrontation. Like, I don't go seeking confrontation, but I don't mind confrontation. Like, don't ever get that twisted. Like, I don't mind confrontation. Like, if you come for me and you're in my space and I'm not in yours, then okay, we could do that. I'm perfectly fine with it. Whatever. So that's a lot of where me and my dad differ. And so it put a strain on our communication relationship, because I felt like, my dad would always, anytime I would try to talk to him, he would always give me what I call these life lesson lecture sermons. And even if it was just a simple conversation, like an everyday conversation like that you normally have with your parents, like, I always felt like he was giving me one of those life lesson lecture sermons. And as I got older, and it turned into more of, I didn't want to talk to him, but he wanted me to talk to him. And he didn't understand why I didn't want to talk to him, but he would just continue to, force the issue. Like, hey, you can talk to me if you want. But every time I tried to talk to you, it ended up me being mad and frustrated and crying. And when I get mad, because normally I don't entertain most stuff, I just internalize it. So when I do get mad, I do cry. So I will be so frustrated and irritated that I'm just crying, and my dad's not understanding why. And I'm just like, you know what, I'm over it. I don't care to talk about this. Like, I don't care to have this conversation with you. If you got something you want to say, you can say it. But I don't have anything to say, because anything that I say is only going to push you to give me more of this life lesson, lecture, sermon that I don't want. I don't want it. And it was the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I still get it to this day. Do not get me wrong. I get it today. Like, I've gotten it, you know. So that caused me to be angry, because I couldn't talk to my dad like he wanted me to, because he didn't realize that his way of communicating with me was very judgmental, and it was always, you know, coming from a Bible standpoint, but never from a father standpoint, being human, being a person like I am. He is a person, but it was always about the Bible, and always about the, you know, what you don't do. Don't be reactive. Don't let your emotions, whatever. You can't have facial expressions when somebody says something. That type of thing, that irks me, because I felt like he was telling me basically not to be me. That it leads back into the problem that I feel like I've had with my family. Like, people don't understand me as a person, as a adult, as a, you know, a person living in this world who's experienced different things, who has experienced different people, who've gone different places, and who they're not seeing that my insight on life is different than theirs. Like, we're not in the 1960s, you know, when my parents was born. We're in the 2000s. I was born in the 90s. So yes, my viewpoint of life and the things that I see are different than his, and he didn't get that. Like, he didn't get me as a person, and it caused, like I said, tension in between us. Like, I love my dad and he loved me, but we could not communicate with each other. And even to this day, it's something that we're working on. It's a work in progress, but we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't been able to connect the ties from, we have the father-daughter ties. That's fine. We have that. We've had the father and child ties. We've established that, but we have not established the adult tie. Me being adult now, and my daddy not knowing how to deal with it. Like my dad always says, I was his first child. I will always be his baby. I will always be his daughter, and things like that. That doesn't change. But I have to tell, like I told him the other day when we were talking, like, Dad, I'm an adult now. I'm not 14, 15, 10, 12, 8. I'm not those anymore. I'm not that child anymore. From that child to now, I've changed. I've grown. I've evolved from that place. And I'm an adult now. I'm a woman now. I am 26, you know. And you have to address me a little bit differently than you would normally address me. Like, yes, I'm still your child. Yes, I'm still your daughter. Yes, I will always be your firstborn. Yes, I will always be your baby girl. But one, I'm a person outside of all of that. That's the first and the foremost thing. And two, I am an adult. So when we have these interactions now, you can't necessarily tell me what to do with my life. You can suggest things for me to do, but at the end of the day, Ariana has to make a decision for Ariana, and whatever that decision is, whether you agree or whether you disagree, whether you don't think it's the best idea, you have to let me live. This is my life. Like, you cannot harbor me in this little box. You cannot shelter me in this little box. and expect me to be a well-rounded person, because I won't be able to experience life like you want me to if you have this vice grip on the back of my neck and you won't let me go to live my life like I should. So we're working on it as time goes on. So for me, it's been a up and down battle, and I've always dealt with it, and I've always, like I said, I would internalize it. So that leads me up to, what did I do to change it? What did I do to, find that, I guess, happy medium in between all of that anger, that frustration, and that disconnect? Like, what did I do to change those things? Okay, so let's get into how I chose to deal with, these emotions. So let's go back to maybe about 2 years ago. Maybe like 2017. It might have been 2000. It was, the middle end of 2017 up until like maybe 2018 or so. I have friends, a lot of friends that deal with things like this, mental health, whether they actually have, trauma, childhood trauma, or chaotic lives when they were young, whether it was the neglect or the abuse or whatever, whether it was they have some mental disorder, whether it's bipolar is usually the one that I come in contact with the most, even in my family, some of my friends, and even in some relationships that I've had. People all around me deal with that. It was what I'm getting at. It's in my family. It's in my friends. It's been in some of the relationships that I have here, especially some of the more recent ones. So I've learned to, see the signs and, how to deal with it. And I knew that I wasn't like bipolar or anything. It was just more of just frustration. I was getting to a point where I was just always angry, like for no reason. I didn't necessarily have a reason as to why I was angry. I was just angry, and I didn't understand why, and I didn't get it. Like, somebody could say something to me and I would just off the handle, and then I would bring it back, and then they'd be looking at me like, what was that about? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I was in a good mood, but some stuff is just, triggered. Some things just triggered me, and I didn't really realize that until, I started snapping on people at work, and being at work, and it was just, I would get so irritated, and I was so agitated, and I was so frustrated, and I just didn't get it, and then I was sitting down, and I was talking to one of my good friends. She's probably watching this, so hey boo. I was talking to Whitley, and when we came in contact with each other, it was in college, and we went through a time with whatever we was involved with the court at Alabama A&M, and we weren't having the best experience with the person who was the queen, and some of the administration that was over us. We weren't having the best time. So that kind of pushed us together and made us more of a unit, and we held on to that even after college. And she's somebody who I can confide in, and somebody that I can talk to candidly about whatever I'm feeling, and she would be honest with me, and she would tell me like, girl, you tripping, you tripping. Or she would tell me, like, she's honest with me, brutally honest with me, and I appreciate her for that. And as time went on, we realized that we were a lot alike in our mannerisms and our thought processes, and how we viewed things, and how we reacted to things, and how we dealt with things. We were a lot alike. almost like we were twins in a sense, just in different bodies yet again. And so I think one day we were having a conversation, just talking about things that life going on at the time. And I think I remember telling her, like, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm like really frustrated, real agitated, real irritated. Nothing is really going on, but I'm angry and I'm mad. And so she started telling me about her problems and things that she was dealing with and issues that she was having. And she started talking about her seeing a therapist, and she said it was doing wonders for her. And I could see the changes in her, and I could see the changes in her demeanor. Like, she was very calm, very relaxed. Like I said, me and her, we were a lot alike. So we was on 10 on go at all times. Like, you say something to me, what? Like, have you lost your... Like, that was us. Like, she got me messed up. She gonna hear what I got to say from me. Like, I don't care what she talking about. Like, blah, blah. That was where we were. Like, that at that time in college. Like, own it. Like, don't say nothing to me if you don't want me to say nothing back to you. Like, that's where we were. And she was so much calmer. She seemed so much happier. And she seemed so much peaceful. Like, she seemed so peaceful. And I was like, okay, well, she was like, she suggested, like, hey, you should go see her. Like, she's worked wonders for me. She works miracles. Listen, if she can bring me back from where I was, she is amazing. So, Dr. Vega, she is a godsend and a miracle worker. I will tell you that. And shout out to her, because she is the best thing ever since sliced bread. I will vouch for her to the day that I die. Listen, that lady is wonderful, okay? She is honest and she's true. She's going to tell you the truth, but she's also going to help you. She's going to make sure that you're not, stuck in that same place, and you're not doing the same things as you were, So she suggested that I go see her. And I was like, look, girl, if she could do that for you, I know she could work some stuff out for me, because Jesus, sis was struggling. She was struggling. She was really struggling. And, I had to acknowledge that. That's the first step in it all. Like, I had to acknowledge the fact that I had some issues, that I had some internal things, that I was internalizing things. Like, I had just to be real with myself. Like, I had to I had to self-analyze. Like, I had to look at how I was dealing with people, how I was reacting to people, what has happened in my life, what is happening in my life, where I want to go, where I want to be, my future kids, my future husband. Like, I had to look at all that and break it down like a fraction. Like, look at the whole situation. And it just boiled down to, Ariana, you got to get some help. Like, if you don't deal with this anger, it's going to get out of control. You're just going to be mad, and you're going to lose everything and everybody around you. And that's something that I did not want. So I went and I set up an appointment with Dr. Vega, and I went and saw her. And we've had a lot of sessions. I don't remember how many before I moved. And I kid you not, she brought me from a place of pure darkness, full of anger and rage, and feeling like I was by myself and trying to function out here in this world with anger, and it wasn't working. So she brought me out of that place into a place of peace and understanding, and with ways of coping with the different things that I was having issues with, and understanding that, that I am an adult and I have options and I have choices on how I deal with people. Like, I don't have to deal with anybody. Like, whether it's family, whether it's a friend, whether it's whoever, I don't have to deal with them. Like, I dictate the way that I deal with people, whether it's, talking to them in a certain manner, not talking to them at all, or limiting the way that I talk to them, or not giving, them any interactions other than, hi, how are you? I'm good, and leaving it at that. Like, not expounding on things and giving people that window or that door to come in and be like, oh, you know, you need to do this or you need to do this. She's taught me all of that, and I feel like she just, I don't know, she understood me. And I think that was very helpful, being in the place that I was. She actually understood me. Okay, so I feel like she understood me for a couple of reasons, and let's just go into the reasons. One, because she was a black woman, as am I. So I felt like that was very important for me when I was, you know, looking into therapy and things like that. I felt like another black woman would understand the things that I was saying to her, and that they could better connect with me on that level and help me, you know, in that manner. She was older, so that's another viewpoint. She's experienced probably some of the same things that I'm dealing with, and she can give me her insight on them. And three, she was somebody who was a product of an HBCU, more specifically the same one that I went to. So her insight was a well-rounded one for me, because she was a black woman who is educated, who is a person who has an opinion, who may not be so docile and meek and, you know, not necessarily always in your face, but she's not the person who's going to back down either. So I felt like we connected in that manner. And so the things that I was saying to her and explaining to her and how I was feeling is like the problems with my family, and, you know, them not understanding or seeing me as a person or as an adult. You know, always assuming that I had an attitude. The relationship with my dad, where, you know, we can't even really talk to each other without me being frustrated or irritated or agitated or angry. You know, relationships with either my friends or relationships with significant others or exes or whatever. All of these things we covered, and she opened my eyes up to this new world almost, and she opened my eyes up to the things that were bothering me that I never really understood why they were bothering me. And it all stemmed from childhood anger. That's what it was. And so it was just easier to talk to her. Like, I almost felt like I was talking to my friend. I didn't feel like I was talking to somebody who was there to medically diagnose me with something, or medically, you know, like, no, I felt like I was talking to my friend, like I was talking to my big sister. Like, if I had a big sister, like, I feel like I was talking to her, like somebody who's experienced life. Or I felt like I was talking to, you know, an older woman that I may encounter. You know, you meet people here and there that, you know, you just kind of connect with, and, you know, they're there to kind of help you and lead you and guide you and to almost steer you clear of some of the things that they've done. But if you just so happen to go into those things that they've done, or experience some of the things that they've experienced, then, you know, they can give you light on how to deal with it, how to get out of that bad space, how to, you know, move forward. And I felt like she was that for me. And we had those sessions, and it was a lot of crying, it was a lot of snot, it was a lot of tissues, it was a lot of talking, it was a lot of self-evaluation, it was a lot of me writing, which that was one of my ways of dealing with things prior to going to counseling or therapy or whatever you want to call it. Before that, that was my way of dealing with it, because I was one of those, I am a person, I still am. Excuse me, I haven't really gotten over that part. Working on it, but I haven't gotten over it. Like, I can't turn that off. It's something that's been a part of me for a long time. Is I'm a very over analytical person. So when things happen, regardless of the situation, especially if, you know, me and somebody fall out, or, get into a disagreement or whatever, and it doesn't logically make sense to me, or for me, I guess is what I'm saying. Everything has to have logic to it. It has to logically make sense to my brain in order for my brain to let it go. And most time it doesn't logically make sense to my brain, so I can't let it go. So I'm sitting here trying to let go and not think about it, but I still think about it, like it's constantly in my head, and I can't let it go. I can't move on from it. So my way of getting rid of those thoughts and those emotions and things like that were to write. I mean, I love to write in general. I feel like English was always my favorite subject in school, besides science. I felt like I was a good writer. I just have a way with words. I've always felt like that. And even people that I talk to, like when I'm talking to people, they always say, oh, you just, it comes so easy to you. You have a way with words. I'm like, it's just always been there. So writing was my outlet, but it wasn't enough. And she suggested that I write. And I would write whenever things like just really, really bothered me, and I just couldn't let it go, and it was really, really irritating me, and I just wanted to be done with it. I would write it all down. I would close my journal, and I would put the journal away, and then I would just walk away from it and leave it alone. Not internalizing, but it's still better to vocalize sometimes some things. So she gave me those tips, like understanding that your family is gonna be your family, and you just have to let them know, like, I'm not 14, 15 years old no more. I'm not that little girl that you're looking at back then. I'm an adult. I'm a grown woman. And the way I handle things and the way I do things is just that. The way I handle things, my way. It's how I've learned to deal with stuff, and it works best for me. Now, if you don't understand that, you don't get that, that's not my problem. And it's not for me to sit here and try to get you to understand. I can tell you now how you interpret that. That's on you. Learning that I had to build an adult relationship with my dad instead of, always, going in and talk about different things, whether it be work, whether it be this, whether it be that, with my dad or my parents in general. Just knowing when not to go there. Like, to just open the door slightly enough for you to go in and be like, hey, Dad, how are you? Tell me how he is. I'm good. And leave it at that. That'll cut down on a lot of the frustrations that you have. And I did that for a good little while, and it made it a lot better. Learning how to function around people and deal with people and control my anger. Like, yeah, she taught me all of that, and I cannot thank her enough for bringing me out of that dark space. And it was going so well that I would be at work, and instead of being so wound up and so riled up by what's going on around me, I had a coworker tell me one day, she said, Ariana, you're so calm and it's scaring me. I said, girl, thanks to this therapist, she works miracles. Like, that's how much of a change it was from being so angry, so wound up, riled up about every little thing, to just being calm. Just like, okay. And just letting it go. Like, not holding on to it, not harboring, not internalizing. Just, okay. Just let it slide off my back, like, slide. Okay, whatever. And just kind of letting it go. Like, that's where I was. And I don't know. It's a little bit different today. I'm not necessarily in that bad of a place, but I don't feel like I'm in that calm space either. I feel like a lot of the experiences that I experienced in Tennessee have not necessarily pushed me in a negative manner, but it's brought back a lot of those feelings that I thought that I had worked through, but I guess it coming from a different source now, it brought up something that I just didn't really see in me until things like that started to happen. Okay, I guess I could touch on this. Moving to Tennessee was definitely an experience. I will say that. It wasn't the best experience ever. No, I will say that. But I feel like it taught me a lot. One, when I moved to Tennessee, I took a job for a company. Like I said, my major was food science, so I was working for a food company. And the place in Tennessee that I was living, was 94% white. So, I'm already the minority, but I'm really the minority there. I could literally count on my hand, like, within the first 6 months, how many other black people that I saw in that area. And I could literally count on my one hand how many black people that I work with. And me being one of them, I still can count on my one hand how many black people that I work with. And no, I don't have an issue with white people. No, I don't. I don't. I mean, I born and raised in South Alabama, where my parents live and where I was born and raised. It is still segregated and still racism going on. So I've dealt with the racism. That's not something that really per se bothered me. But it brought up some different things that that as a black woman that is working or will be working in an industry where it is predominantly white, predominantly male driven. It brings up some things that you just, you never dealt with. And so it brings up some different emotions. So, dealing with, different people, a lot of male energy, a lot of big egos, a lot of favoritism, a lot of, sexism. You deal with that, and you deal with the being the only black girl in the whole group, in your whole department. You deal with, your management team has disregarded you because, one, you're black, and two, you're a woman. They have an issue with woman authority. That brings up some different feelings and different things like that. So I feel like dealing with that for the year that I was with the company, or the year plus that I was with the company, and other things going on, some different things happening that I don't care to talk about or anything like that, put me in a really bad headspace. Not to mention personal things that were going on during the time, dealing with an ex, now is an ex, just different things, different drama. It put me in a bad headspace, and then other things transpired. It's rough. Like, now, just looking at it, like, no, I'm not in a bad space. No, I'm not in a bad I don't know. I'm not in a bad headspace, but I'm not where I would like to be. I'm functioning fairly well under the circumstances, and I feel like I'm handling it pretty well based upon everything that has happened. I'm not harboring any negative feelings or anything like that. It's more of in a current state of, it happened, you let go, you move on. That's kind of where I am right now. So I feel like for me, this is another time where I have to be honest with myself, and I have to be real with myself, and, you know, kind of self-analyze again and break it down and look at it. And I know for a fact that I will be going back to therapy once I get back settled and adjusted to everything. I'm definitely going to see her again because she's helped me out of a really bad place, I should say. And I don't want to harbor and hold on to these feelings that I have, or the ones that I do have. I don't want to hold on to them. I don't want to harbor them. You know, I want to let them out and vocalize them. And I've been talking, you know, to my friends and my family as much as I feel the need to. And I've talked to them, so I feel like that's helped a lot, instead of just sitting there internalizing it and not talking to anybody and not, you know, expressing how I really feel about it. I feel like that's helped me a lot, but I know that I need to have, and yet again, and I don't know if I've said this in the video already, but I need to have that unbiased opinion. Somebody who doesn't know me, who knows nothing about me, who's never met me, who hasn't seen me grow up. They're just seeing me as is right now, and they listen to my journey from A to B, and now I'm at B and I'm trying to go from B to C, and they just help me get along from that that thing, you know, get over it. So I definitely will be going to therapy probably here soon, hopefully. You know, getting back into things and getting myself back on this self-care journey, making sure that I'm good and taking care of me. I don't know if any of you all are dealing with, you know, any mental issues or internal turmoil or things like that. But I guess the moral of this whole story and, you know, my journey is to say to you that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to say that I'm dealing with this emotional abuse. I'm dealing with this physical trauma. I'm dealing with the abuse of this physical abuse. I'm dealing with, you know, I'm not in a good headspace. My thoughts are clouded. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm upset, I'm pissed, whatever it is that you have going on. It is absolutely okay to say, I am not okay, and that I need help. And it may not be a therapist, it may be an older somebody that you confide in, that you know, you look up to, somebody that you feel is going to lead you and guide you in the right way. Whatever it is, whether you feel like you just need to take time and just pray about it or whatever. Like, the first step in it is acknowledging that you have a problem. And that's the hardest step. Like, once you acknowledge that you have an issue, and once you acknowledge that you have a problem, whatever it may be, whether it's, you may be bipolar, you may be flat out just crazy in the brain, like you may be just in a manic state, you may just be, you know, upset, you may be angry. As long as you can acknowledge those feelings and understand those feelings, that's the biggest step. Now, how you deal with it after that, like, once you acknowledge it, dealing with it and figuring out how to deal with it comes easier. And I suggest that you make sure that you have a strong support system, which I do. I'm so grateful and so blessed to have the people in my life that I do. Family, friends, people at church. Just blessed to have the people that I do, that's always supportive and always there if I need them. And if I call, they will literally get in their car 3 o'clock in the morning and come to me to make sure that I'm okay. I'm grateful and I'm so thankful and I'm blessed to have those things. I suggest that you make sure that your circle is tight and your circle is strong, so that they can support you. Always support your friends. Always check on your friends. Your strong friend is usually a friend that's going through the most. So check on your friends, check on your family, check on the people that you love. You know, when they say, hey, I'm going through, something, don't disregard it. Don't push it to the side. Oh, just thinking of it. Oh, it's just this. Don't downplay it. If they say something is wrong, something's wrong, and you need to treat it like something's wrong. You know, we have to do better about that as a group of people. We don't want to acknowledge things just because it's uncomfortable. We don't want to talk about things just because it's uncomfortable. We don't want to deal with things just because it's going to bring some turmoil into your family, into your life. Chaos is not always bad. And it takes ruffling some feathers sometimes of a group of people, whether it be your family, whether it be your inner circle, whether it be, you know, at your job. It takes ruffling those feathers and bringing up those things that are difficult and hard to talk about to open up and bring that healing and that peace that you all need. Like, you'll be surprised how many people are dealing with things, and how just that one time that you ruffle feathers and you cause chaos in a place, how much healing and help that you can bring to somebody else. So, you know, hey, don't be afraid to talk about these things. Don't be afraid to, you know, say, hey, what you did didn't sit well with me. It made me feel like this. Like, you have to have the conversations. Like, we have to have the conversations. We have to do better about that. And I feel like once we do that, then we'll be in a better place. So, okay, this is the very last thing that I want to say, and then we'll end the video. Just know that this healing is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. This healing yourself is healing your future. This healing yourself is healing your past. This healing yourself is making your present a lot better and a lot easier. For me, when I think about this healing and the processes to get to the healing, I know that it's bigger than me. This healing is for my parents. This healing is for my sister who is watching me, and she sees my life. And if I'm being angry and I'm being, you know, internalizing, I'm not vocalizing, I'm not talking to her, I'm not talking to my parents, I'm not talking to my friends, and I'm just going into this downward spiral, I'm leading her down that same path. Not intentionally, or maybe not directly, but I am. She sees it, she's watching me. This healing is for my future children. I don't want to have to raise kids that will have to heal from their childhood. I don't want to raise kids who cannot talk to me. I don't want to be that parent that I'm so closed-minded and judgmental that my kids cannot come to me about anything, whether it's somebody neglecting them or abusing them. I want my kids to talk to me, and I want my kids to talk to me candidly and honestly. I want them to have that line of communication, and I have to heal myself in order to heal for, like, I'm doing it for everybody around me, because I can be a better daughter, a better sister, a better friend. I can be a better employee. I can be a better person in general when I heal myself. And I want to be able to be with my future spouse, and we can talk to each other, and we can grow with each other, and we can build with each other. But I can't grow with him if I can't grow myself, you know. So I have to heal myself. He has to heal himself. You know, we have to come together and understand that, hey, we're both damaged people, but we have to understand, we have to get an understanding of each other, and we have to grow with each other, and we have to know that the things that we are working towards are not going to be easy. They're not going to be cakes and pies and cookies. Like, it's not going to be a cakewalk. But we have to know that we feel that each other, we are worth the fight and worth the healing. And I'm an advocate for you being counseled, he being counseled, y'all being counseled together. If you got to take your kids to counseling and you see stuff in them, do it. Like, you need to do it. Like, stop trying to live into these stigmatisms of making this so taboo. Like, kids are killing themselves every day. People are killing themselves every day, all because of their mental state. Like, if we don't start taking care of our mental states, we're going to be at our demise quicker than we think. And I would hate to see one of my friends or my family or past coworkers, anybody, take their life because they felt like they did not have a safe haven. And I felt like that for a while. And I will not lie to you, I've had some of those thoughts that maybe like, hey, maybe not being here would be better for everybody else. But that's the furthest thing from the truth. Taking yourself away from your people that need you is detrimental to them. And you have to live. You have to grow. You have to learn. That's the point of life. And you have to understand you. You have to know yourself. And so, you don't take nothing else from this video. Just know that your mental health is important. You are important. You are needed in this world. You have a purpose in this world. And that, find somebody who understands you. Find somebody that you can confide in. If you feel like it's a person out there that you can do that with, that is a blessing, and you need to talk to that person so that way you can keep your mental state on a steady, even plane, and that you can be a stable person in this crazy world. If you need to go to a therapist and you're scared, I'm pretty sure if you start talking to your friends a little bit more and people around you a little bit more, you will find out they've been too. You just need to take that step. You need to make that acknowledgement that I have a problem and I want to go talk to somebody. Just taking a step, you will be surprised how much of a change in your life and a shift in your life that will be. So I'm not going to keep going on and on and on. I hope that my story, or my words, help somebody out there. I hope that it will, help you. Maybe you can look at yourself a little bit differently and see, self-analyze and things like that. And you can, grow from it. And maybe you will feel like you need to adjust yourself and your thinking and your thought processes and things like that, and maybe you'll go seek help. I hope this helped one of you all. If you don't know anything else and you don't get anything else from this video, the point of this video is to say it's okay not to be okay. It's okay for you to not be fine. And I just hope that you get the help that you need, that I'm here if you ever want to talk to me. I always have an open ear, and I can help you as much as I possibly can. Hey, because I'm living this life thing just as you are. And that I love you guys, that we are a family, and that's the end of this family talk. So until the next time we have another family sit down, just know I love you guys, and I hope that you all find the help that you need in whatever situation that you're in. Make sure you talk to people. Make sure you let them know how you're feeling. Let them in on your mental status so that they can take care of you. Until next time. Bye.